Let's remember again the conditional sentences, okay? You're going to be experts in conditional sentences after this level because we remember then every class, I guess. Conditional sentences. Do you remember how do we form the conditional sentences? How do we form them?
If clause result.
Yes, we have an if clause and a result, right? And we have different kind of conditionals as we have seen before. We have four kind of conditionals, right? The first one is
Zero.
the zero conditional, and we use the zero conditional when we talk about what?
Facts.
Facts or things that are generally true, right? And how do we form this conditional sentence?
Present.
Present, right? We use the present simple for both parts of the conditional sentence. Very good. If you stand on the rain, you get wet. Then we have the next kind of conditional sentence that is the
First conditional.
first conditional. When do we use it?
Possible situations in the future.
Yes, to talk about possible situations in the future. And how do we form the first conditional?
Present simple.
And
Future.
future simple, right? Present simple and future simple. We can say if you study, you will pass the exam. And the second conditional that we recently see or we recently saw. So when do we use the second conditional? Do you remember? To talk about, I don't want you to check your books. I want you to try to remember. When do we use the second conditional? If I were rich, I would buy a house. When do we use it?
Less probability things.
Again, please.
Less
Facts in the
probability
past.
things. Accidents.
Accident?
No, less probability. When sometimes less probability to happen.
When something is less probable to happen. Okay. Yes. Anybody else? No. We learned it last week. Yes?
Facts in the present or future.
Yes, we talk about the present or future, but remember we talk about things that are not real, that are imagined situations or hypothetical situations. Okay? And real situations, hypothetical situations for the present or the future, right? And we use the simple past in the if clause and would, may, might, could, plus a verb in the base form in the result, right? Okay, here we have an example. If I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. It's something unreal, something hypothetical, okay? And then we have the conditional sentence, or the conditional, yes, the conditional sentence we are going to check today. That is the third conditional. Remember, we use the third conditional for unreal situations too, or hypothetical situations, but not in the present or in the future. We use it to talk about the past, okay? And how do we form it? In the if clause, we use the past perfect, okay? And in the result, we use the perfect conditional, that is would, have, and a past participle form of the verb. This would can be replaced for might, made, or could. Como en este condicional podríamos reemplazar el would por made, might, or could. Lo mismo en el tercer condicional, puede ser reemplazado. Okay? For example, if you had studied, you would have passed the exam. Okay, so this is the conditional we are going to practice today, the third conditional. Okay? So let's see. Third conditional. We use it to talk about imagined situations in the past and their imagined results. Okay? Let's see. How do we form it? We said that we form the third conditional using
Past perfect.
the past perfect. Very good. How do we form the past perfect? Look at your sentence here in exercise number 4. How do we form the past perfect?
Past have and a verb in past participle.
Yes, we use had as an auxiliary verb, had, and a past participle form of the verb. And the result, fíjense en su ejemplo en el ejercicio número 4.
Would and have.
Would have, and
Past
Verb
participle.
in past participle.
very good. And here we have the perfect conditional that is would, could, or could have, and in the past participle form of the verb. And we can use may or might when the situation is less certain, less probable. ¿Ok? Entonces, estos son cuando la situación no es tan segura. ¿Ok? Y el could es cuando algo es posible. ¿Ok? Cuando estamos hablando de posibilidad. Y may and might cuando algo no es muy seguro. ¿Ok? Here we have a sentence, a fact, and I want you to help me to change it to the third conditional. I want you to imagine that this situation was different in the past, okay? It says, it wasn't a nice day. We didn't have a good time. How can we use the third conditional to imagine that this situation was different in the past? ¿Qué podríamos decir? Utilicen esta estructura.
If it had been a nice day,
Ujú,
we would
ujú.
have a good time.
Mm,
Have had a good time.
yes, very good. Mhm. If it had been a nice day, we would have had a good time. As you can see, we are using the verb to be in the past perfect. Okay, so the verb to be in the past perfect. And we use here the verb didn't have or have in the perfect conditional form. Would have had a good time. Very good. So as you can see in the third conditional, we can use also the if clause or the condition at the beginning, and we separate this from the result with a comma. Okay? Let's see, here we have another one. Let's try to change this to an imagined situation. Okay? ¿Alguien más se anima aparte de Sebastián? It says, I arrived late to my job interview. I didn't get the job. So I want you to think, how can I change this to an imagined situation in the past? Utilizando esta estructura, la misma. What can you say?
If I'd arrived late to my job interview, I have got the job.
Ok, quiero que utilice la misma estructura acá. Ok, if
If I had arrived late to my job interview, I
late, si yo hubiese llegado tarde, recuerde que tenemos que cambiarlo a una situación que nosotros imaginamos que pasó y que podría ser mejor tal vez?
Teacher, maybe if I hadn't arrived
Okay,
late.
if I hadn't, right? Okay, continue, Diego. If I
Okay.
hadn't arrived late,
If I hadn't arrived late to my job interview, I I have
mm, I
I would have got the job,
would have
got the job,
mm,
gotten the job.
gotten, right? The job. Very good. Okay. So here I have exactly the same sentence you said, but I changed the position, okay? As you can see, this is the if clause, and that's why I am using the past perfect here. If I hadn't arrived late to my job interview. Ay, perdón, aquí le puse coma en lugar de punto. Y acá la puse la primera parte. I might have gotten the job. I might have gotten the job if I hadn't arrived late to my job interview. ¿Ok? Entonces tenemos exactamente la misma oración, pero lo único que hicimos fue cambiar la posición. ¿Ok? Y recuerden que si cambiamos la posición, no necesitamos utilizar una coma. ¿Ok? Very good. Y aquí le puse might porque es posible que yo haya, que me hayan aceptado en el trabajo. Posiblemente. ¿Ok? Pero podríamos utilizar cualquiera de estos dependiendo de cómo querramos expresarnos. Ok, ahora los demás. Vamos a hacer los demás. Traten de hacer este ejercicio. I was late, so I missed the bus. Anybody else apart besides Diego and Sebastián? I was late, so I missed the bus. What can we say here? If
If I hadn't been late, I wouldn't, or I would haven't.
I wouldn't, está bien el negativo en el would. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't have missed the bus.
Very good, yes. If I hadn't been late, I wouldn't have missed the bus. Very good, okay. Todos excepto Sebastián, Diego, y Roberto. The next one. She didn't study for her test. For that reason, she didn't pass the exam. What can we say here?
She hadn't studied for her test.
Again, please.
If she hadn't studied for her test,
If she had studied.
Okay, if she had studied for her test,
She
would have passed the exam.
will have passed the exam.
Very good. So, aquí lo tengo al revés también, de nuevo. She may have passed the exam. Lo puse con may para utilizar otro de los modal verbs. If she had studied for her test. Right? Very good. Todos excepto Diego, Sebastián, Roberto, Leonardo, and María José. The next one. I was born in Bolivia, so I didn't learn to speak other languages as a child. What do you think? gusta describirla, así les es más fácil hacer la oración. If, ¿qué podríamos decir?
If I hadn't born in Bolivia, I would have learned to speak other language as a child.
Okay. Remember that this verb is not just born. The verb is was born. I was born. You were born. Okay. Siempre va acompañado del verbo to be. ¿Qué podríamos decir?
I hadn't been born.
Very good. If I hadn't been born in Bolivia,
I would have learned to speak other language as
other
a child.
languages. Very good. Very good. Here I have another example. It says, I could have learned to speak other languages as a child if I had been born in a different country. Okay, so this is a different example. Good. Any questions about this third conditional sentence?
Teacher, ¿y se puede usar acá el must?
Must? No,
No.
no. Solamente would, may, might, and could. Okay. Para los condicionales. Ok. Esto también lo utilizamos cuando queremos expresar regrets. Algo de lo que me arrepiento. Ay, me arrepiento de haber hecho esto. Si yo hubiese hecho esto, no hubiera pasado alguna cosa. ¿Ok? I want you to think in a regret, and I want you to use the third conditional to express your regret. Okay? I'm going to give you a minute so you can think in your regret. I want to listen to all of you with your regrets. Okay? Algo de lo que se arrepientan y imaginan que podría haber sido diferente si hubiesen hecho lo contrario. Ok, les voy a dar unos minutos. Let's see. Does any of you have the sentence with the regrets?
Me, teacher.
Okay, please.
If I had studied medicine, I might have worked in a hospital.
Very good. Anybody else?
If I had studied more, I will be with my friend at level 8.
I would.
I would be with my friend at level 8.
I would.
I would have with my friend.
No, I would have been
Mm.
with my friend, right? Recuerden que después del have, un verbo en past participle, ¿ok? Siempre el have, nunca se va el have, entonces siempre ténganlo en cuenta. Any other? Any other regrets?
No sé si estoy correcto, pero
Okay.
if I hadn't spent my money on Free Fire, I would have bought a new bike.
Okay, very good. Any other sentences?
Me, teacher,
Please.
if I had time, I would have got exercise.
If I
Had time, I would have got exercise.
I would have y el verbo en past participle. I would have gotten.
I got it. Yes.
Gotten exercise. Okay. Anybody else?
Me, teacher?
Please.
If I hadn't done my international internship, I would have already graduated.
Yes, I would have already graduated. Very good. Any other ideas?
Yo tengo una.
Okay.
If I hadn't bought my cell phone in downtown, I would have saved my money.
Very good. Remember, if I hadn't bought my cell phone downtown, we don't need any prepositions for downtown. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you, guys. Let's go to the next exercise, exercise B. It says, which clause is about hypothetical situations in the past? ¿Cuál de estas dos? Aquí tenemos dos clauses, right? Tenemos the if clause, que es hasta aquí, y luego tenemos the result or the consequence. Okay, tenemos dos clauses. Which of these two is about a hypothetical situation in the past?
The first,
The first, the orange, right, is the hypothetical situation. Number two, which clause is about a possible consequence of the hypothetical situation? Of course, the second, right? It's the possible consequence of the hypothetical situation. It's the result, the possible result, or the possible consequence, okay? Which clause contains a verb in the past perfect? Which one?
the first,
The first, right? The past perfect, because the option is here, had, stayed. And which clause contains would, have, and a verb in the past participle? Of course, the second, right? Would have found her. Okay, very good. Let's move on. Here we have exercise number 5. Complete the sentence and check your answer in the last paragraph. Okay? Don't read the last paragraph. Try to complete it with your ideas, and then we're going to check. If Anne, the help sign, rescuers her. What can we say? How can we form a third conditional sentence in this situation? If Anne, ¿qué podríamos decir? If Anne, recuerden que aquí tenemos que buscar un past perfect.
hadn't written,
Okay, hadn't written the sign, the help sign, rescuers, and here we need to use would plus have plus past participle. What can we say? Rescuers
Wouldn't have found her.
Very good. Wouldn't have found her. Let's see here. Yes. If she have stayed in the car, and here we have, right? If she hadn't made, en lugar de written, aquí tenemos el verbo made, pero está bien igual. The help sign, they wouldn't have found her. Very good. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to this one, exercise B. What really happened? Choose the correct options. Anna or Anne made or didn't make the help sign. What is the correct option? Made. She made the sign, right? And the rescuers found or didn't find her? Found her, right? So this is a real situation, and we are talking about the hypothetical situation with the third conditional. Very good. So I want you to go to page 133, and here we have some more examples, exercises to form the third conditional tense, okay? I'm going to give you some minutes so you can complete these exercises. Complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in parentheses to make third conditional sentences. So, number one, please, Enrique. How did you complete this one?
Sorry, teacher.
Hmm? How do you complete the first one? Remember that in the if clause, you need to use the past perfect, right? How do you complete this one?
If you have
Had, and the verb?
asked
Ask, very good. Ask me for some money.
I will. Ay, esa sí no sé, teacher. I
Would, y después de would debemos ocupar
um, I would have
ujú,
gave
gave es el pasado simple, en pasado participio.
I don't remember this
Given.
word, teacher.
Given. Okay. Can you read the complete sentence? Enrique?
Sorry, teacher.
Can you read the complete sentence?
Yes. If you have asked me for some money, I would have given it to you.
Okay. What does it mean in Spanish? What do you understand?
And si tú me hubieras preguntado por dinero,
¿Preguntado
yo
por
te-
dinero?
o me hubieras pedido dinero, algo así.
Ujú,
Me hubieras
pedido
pedido dinero,
dinero.
yo te hubiera dado, yo te hubiera entregado.
Yo te lo hubiese prestado o te lo
Prestado.
hubiese dado. Ujú, very good. And let's go to number 2. María José, please. We
hadn't stayed.
hadn't stayed.
At that hotel if you wouldn't have recommended.
You wouldn't have
Recommended
did it. Okay.
it.
Tell me, Maria Jose, what is the if clause in this sentence?
Mm, I
Where is
don't know.
your if clause? Lea de nuevo la oración y encuentre la if clause. ¿Cuál es la parte del if?
If you,
Ok, entonces esta parte sería su if clause.
mhm,
Ok. En la parte de if clause, ¿qué tiempo gramatical utilizamos?
past perfect.
Past perfect. ¿Es este el past perfect?
No.
No. Okay, so what can we say here? How can we change this to the past perfect?
Have had.
Again, please.
Have had.
Ok, ¿cómo formamos el past perfect? María José.
Don't
Necesitamos
remember very well.
un auxiliar, ¿cierto? ¿Cuál es el auxiliar que
No.
necesitamos? María José. Mire el ejemplo de su compañero, el 1. Fíjese en el ejemplo. ¿Qué auxiliar necesitamos?
El had,
Had, right? Ok. Y después de had, ¿qué tenemos?
el past perfect,
Past
participle.
participle. Ok. Entonces usted tiene que hacer lo mismo aquí, en este ejemplo. Aquí está la parte del if, entonces tiene que utilizar el past perfect. ¿Cómo formaría el past perfect con este verbo? Not recommend.
Mm,
¿Cómo lo formaría? If you
hadn't,
hadn't, and the verb
recommended it.
recommended. Very good. Ok. Y ahora tenemos acá el resultado de esta condición. ¿Qué utilizamos para el resultado?
Would
Ujú.
and have.
Ok, entonces, ¿cómo sería? We
Wouldn't have.
Very good. We wouldn't have stayed. Ok, entonces esta sería su oración. Recuerde que no importa que si la if clause está al final, usted igual debe utilizar el past perfect para la if clause. ¿Ok? ¿Cómo sería entonces todo el ejemplo ya completo? ¿Puede leerlo?
We wouldn't have stayed in that hotel if you hadn't recommended it.
Ok. ¿Cómo sería en español?
No nos hubiéramos quedado en ese hotel si no nos los hubieras recomendado.
Very good. Okay. Let's go to the next one, please. Leonardo.
Okay. I could have gone to the party if they had invite me.
Invite me?
And sorry, me confundí con el verbo invite in past perfect.
¿No recuerda el verbo?
No, se me fue.
Okay.
Sorry.
Invited.
Invited me. Sorry. I would have gone to the party if they had invited me.
Very good. Carla, please, number 4.
If they had arrived 5 minutes early.
Arrived?
If they arrived.
If they
had arrived or no.
Arrived?
Arrived.
Arrived, right?
Arrived, yes, okay. Arrived 5 minutes early. They wouldn't miss the flight.
Miss it?
Miss.
They wouldn't
Have missed.
Have missed the flight. Very good. Thank you. Raúl, please, number 5.
If you hadn't drive so slowly, we would have arrived home an hour ago.
Very good. You haven't drive. Again, please. If you
Hadn't driven so slowly,
driven so slowly, we
would have arrived
would have arrived home an hour ago. Diego, please, number 6.
I would have gone to the concert last Saturday if I had known it was free.
Very good. I've gone to the concert last Saturday if I
I had known it was free.
it was free. Very good. Alison, please, number 7.
If you had taken a better map, you wouldn't have gotten lost.
Wouldn't have gotten lost. Very good. Wouldn't have gotten lost. Ok. ¿Alguna pregunta antes de que vayamos a los próximos ejercicios? Okay, let's go to the next part. Number 8, please, Sebastián.
Okay. We wouldn't have gone to the beach yesterday if we had seen the weather forecast.
The weather forecast. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next one, number 2. Complete the sentences and add the or leave a blank. No, this is not the exercise. This one, right? Number 2. Write sentences about how these situations and consequences in the past would have been different. Use third conditional. The third conditional. Number 1, here we have an example. You didn't work hard last year. You didn't pass your exams. If you had worked hard last year, you would have passed your exams. Es lo mismo que hemos estado haciendo, ¿cierto? Number 2, there was a lot of traffic and we arrived late for the meeting. What can we say here?
If there hadn't been
If
a lot of
there
traffic,
hadn't been a lot of traffic, ¿qué más?
we wouldn't have arrived late for the meeting.
We wouldn't have arrived late for the meeting. Very good. We wouldn't have arrived late for the meeting. Number 3, anybody else? She cut her finger badly. I took her to the hospital. What can we say here? Anybody else?
if she hadn't cut her finger.
If she hadn't
Cut her finger badly.
cut her finger badly,
I wouldn't have taken her to the hospital.
very good. I wouldn't
have taken her to the hospital.
Her to the hospital. Very good. Anybody else with number 4? It was really hot yesterday. We didn't play tennis. What can we say? Ay, aquí no.
If it has been really hot yesterday,
If it
has been really hot yesterday.
has been,
Yes.
like this,
Maybe. I don't know.
ocupamos el past perfect, remember, not the present perfect. Okay,
Sorry, had been.
okay. The rest of the sentence is,
Um, we couldn't have played tennis.
tenis. ¿Qué significa su oración, Leonardo, en español?
Mi teacher. Ayer no hubiera hecho mucha calor.
Pero no dice no hubiera, dice hubiera.
Ah, si ayer hubiera hecho mucha calor, no habríamos podido jugar tenis.
Ok, pero el ejercicio dice que debemos poner lo opuesto. ¿Cierto?
Perdí esa parte entonces. If it hadn't been really hot yesterday,
If it hadn't been really hot yesterday,
we could have played.
yes, very good. We could have played tennis. Very good. Number 5, anybody else? With number 5? ¿Alguien se anima? Carla?
If I hadn't left my phone at home, I would have called you.
I
Would have called you.
called you. Ok. Generalmente en sus ejercicios tengan muy en cuenta que si dice couldn't en su ejercicio, mejor si le ponen could o couldn't, porque en su examen en la plataforma tal vez se lo cuenten como incorrecto si le ponen would, ¿ok? Entonces, si ya está la palabra, utilícenla. Number 6. Anybody else with number 6?
If I had known it was your birthday today,
Known it was your birthday today,
I would have bought you a present.
Very good. I would have bought you a present. Very good. Ok. Esas son las oraciones hasta las 6. Vamos a continuar con las demás, ¿ok? ¿Alguna pregunta sobre estas que tenemos escritas? No? Okay, let's go to the next part. Number 7. Anybody with number 7? ¿Alguien que no haya participado, tal vez?
If he hadn't trained hard every day,
If he hadn't what?
trained
Again?
hard every day, he would won the race.
He would
won the race.
mm-mm.
Will have won the race.
Ok. Creo que le falta algo. Léala de nuevo, su oración completa.
If he hadn't trained hard every day, he would have won the race.
¿Le falta algo? ¿Qué significa en español?
Si no hubiera entrenado duro todos los días, he wouldn't, sería.
Wouldn't, right? He wouldn't have won the race. Very good. The last one? Anybody with the last one? Please?
If you had stopped at the red light,
If you
had stopped
have stopped, right? Stopped, not stop it. Never.
at the red light,
Hmm.
the police officer wouldn't have given you a fine.
Wouldn't have given. Very good. Tienen que practicar los verbos en pasado participio, la pronunciación, ¿ok? Very good. Good. Entonces creo que ya está claro, ¿no? El uso del tercer condicional. ¿Alguien tiene todavía alguna duda? ¿Algo que quieran repasar, tal vez?